All right, Jim. Thinking about you when we look at Gabe Carimi of the Bears, left tackle. He's coming back from a knee injury, and certainly it's tough enough to make that transition from college football to the NFL and to play tackle. Just talk a little bit about that and how that went for you back in your playing days with the Bears.
Well, I was quite fortunate. Fred, I played left tackle in high school, played left tackle in college for 3 years in a pro-oriented offense. I mean, we threw the ball 40 times a game, somewhere in the neighborhood of that with Dan Marino. So we were a pretty good passing team. So I learned how to pass block early, had a great teacher, a guy named Joe Moore, who I think was the best offensive line coach that ever lived. And I think that just helped me. So when I came to the program, I think I had a lot easier transition than a lot of guys from traditionally running schools that ran the football a lot. So, I mean, I feel like I had a lot more understanding of the passing game and had a lot better technique than a lot of guys coming in. So I has a little bit of an advantage than a guy coming from Nebraska or Oklahoma or something like that.
Well, and what has changed, in your opinion, about the NFL line play? In terms of the rules, in terms of what's being taught to these guys? What's changed from the days that you played?
I think the technique nowadays is dreadful. I think guys catch people, they don't shock people. You very rarely see guys, punch people with their hands, get separation. I mean, in these days, a three-step drop, short passing game, I mean, you can essentially shock the guy at the line of scrimmage and almost fall down and he won't get to the passer. Yet these guys continually back up and catch people, and it's just frustrating to watch sometimes. I mean, we had 6 and 7, 8-step drops, sometimes even more than that, and you had to protect a long time. And I mean, if I had the techniques that these guys had today, I'd just get run over, So you can't catch people, you got to shock people at the line of scrimmage, you got to stop them, and you got to, pass blocking is controlled aggression, right? I mean, you got to shock people, but you got to kind of give ground, but still hold your ground as well. I mean, I know a lot of times it doesn't make sense, but that's what you have to do. And I think guys now are catching a lot of people. They're not real good techniques. And it's sad to see. There's still some good teachers out there, I mean, guys that are, Pat Flaherty from the Giants, Russ Grimm from Arizona, Paul Dunn from Atlanta Falcons. There's still some good teachers out there that know the game well and know how to teach it, but I think as a whole it's not very good.
What do you think of Jamarcus Webb, kind of a raw talent, went transfer from Texas to West Texas A&M, comes into the league and almost by necessity is, placed in a starting role, and showed flashes of ability. And what are your thoughts on him?
I think he, got into a place where he had to play a little bit at that position, left tackle, and I think he did pretty well. I mean, it's a very difficult position to play. I've seen guys that played left tackle in college, go to the pros, they move him to guard. We have a couple of those, right? Guy gets drafted as a left tackle, they move him to right tackle. I mean, a lot of that stuff happens, so it's a very difficult position to play. You play against the best athletes on defense, and so you got to be able to move your feet. You got to be able to, get in front of guys. And I think he did a pretty good job last year. I mean, he did an admirable job with a pretty good quarterback that maybe held on to a little bit last year, but I mean, he's a great player, and if he gets rid of the ball, he's probably got one of the best arms in the league. So I think he did a pretty good job.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Of course, now Mike Tice is the offensive coordinator. He's deals with the offensive line as well. What are some ways that an offensive coordinator can help particularly a left tackle out in scheme-wise?
Well, you can run double tights every once in a while, 2 tight ends, or you can keep a guy in that. I mean, the Redskins did it for years with Joe Gibbs, and they ran 2 tight ends, and that's why they didn't give up a lot of sacks. And everyone's like, well, that's a great offensive line. Well, they were pretty good, but they kept in tight ends all the time. They also kept the back in there, and a lot of times, their job was to, to chuck the defensive end coming off the ball. So, they're thinking that the left tackle's protecting people by himself all the time, and really he wasn't. So they can do things like that, I think, to help them. I think you got to keep people honest, too. You just can't have guys teeing off on you, and especially on 3rd and long. Everybody in the stadium knows they're going to pass it. Keeping people honest, run some draws, and, chip the guy every once in a while and keep him off guard.
We always talk about quarterbacks sort of having a mental clock in their mind. 1,001, 1,002, 1,000, so you got to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing for linemen in terms of trying to hold that block for certain number of seconds?
You know, I don't know. I just know that you protect it as long as you possibly could. And if you lost a guy, then, you know, at the last minute, you try to get in front of him and throw your body in front of him. You know, that was the last ditch resort. Going on the ground wasn't an option. I mean, you go on the ground, you miss it. Kind of cut guys, and they jump over top of you. It's not a good thing. I don't like cut blocks. I never did. I had to learn to do it when I came to the Bears. I never really enjoyed it. But especially on some of those short passes, you had to get their hands down. You know, and I still didn't like doing that.
Yeah.
But I think you just get in front of guys, and it's just kind of an innate ability you have to know if the ball's gone. And I think that just comes with playing and being in the league for a while.
Well, you look like you can still play, Jim.
I don't know
What are you
about
up to
that.
these days?
Well, I run a company in Pittsburgh called Institute for Transfusion Medicine. It's a blood collection, distribution, supply, blood bank business, and a lot of other different businesses around it. And the business here is called LifeSource. So I've been involved with that now since 2007, and I'm the president CEO and enjoying what I'm doing.
Terrific. Well, great catching up with you, and thanks a lot for your time, Jim.
You got it.